Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Protection Insight podcast. Joining me today is National Account Manager over at Guardian, Sam Davis. So welcome to the podcast, Sam. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Vincent. I'm well, thank you. And thank you for having me on the podcast.
Okay, good. Now, the purpose of this podcast is to show you really some interesting examples of how you can set up some rules within your business, which are going to help you generate greater revenue with less risk for no more work. Does that sound too good to be true? Well, stay tuned. Now, one thing I need to make clear before we get started is that everything that you're about to see is specific to 4-year commission terms with Guardian. We're not talking about 2-year terms. So, Sam, in a nutshell, when we're talking about flexible commission, can you just explain what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So with flexible commission, we're really talking about the split of indemnity versus non-indemnity commission. For us, it's about giving choice and flexibility to advisors in terms of how they generate revenue for their business. So really, it's giving you the option just to kind of potentially transition from indemnity commission that you might be used to, and that might be the business model you've got set up, into non-indemnity commission that could potentially add a little more value to your business.
And I think, Sam, the thing that really caught my eye with the facility you've got over at Guardian is just how flexible what you just talked about there really is. So in other words, what I mean by that is, yes, you could have a 50-50 indemnity, non-indemnity split, but you could also have a 79-21 split. You could have a 97-3 split or a 52-48 split. Really, you can do anything you want. So I think we need to look at how this works in practice, Sam, because obviously all of this happens within the Guardian portal, which you've called Protection Builder.
Correct, yep. So usually you'd obviously kind of go through your own solution builder, you'd run your quotes through the portal, then you would transition into Protection Builder once you're looking to quote and apply through Guardian. So once you've launched into Protection Builder, you can see on this screen here that you've got a premium showing on the screen. And that default commission is going to show as indemnity commission. So that's the upfront commission, and that liability lasts for 48 months, as we talked about on 4-year terms. So let's say we want to take 50% of the commission upfront, but leave the other 50% to non-indemnity. In other words, on the drip for the next 48 months. What you do in that scenario is just press on that little review hyperlink there, and that will take you into this next screen. So in here, you've got the percentages. So commission style set with a 100 percentage to indemnity. This is then the part that you can alter. So you can very easily change that from 100% to 50% or any figure really that you wanted to. So if you're looking for a 70-30 split or a 20-80 split, you could do it perhaps on the value of the case that you've got on whatever suits your business.
And I noticed there, Sam, there is also the option to sacrifice commission by a percentage amount here. So obviously you'd only use that if you want to give some of your commission away. And like you said before, Sam, all you really need to do is enter a percentage figure, and that could be any percentage split that you want to. So I mentioned in my introduction, Sam, that generating greater revenue with less risk for no more work. So could you start talking about what we really mean by that?
Of course, Vince. Let's have a look at an example. So here we've put a case study together. We have John Smith, who is our advisor, who has a new client. They get 200% indemnity commission with 235% non-indemnity. Their clients, Paul and Jess, are looking for protection. Got Paul at 32, Jess at 35. A fairly standard case. The advisor is recommending £100,000 of our dual life combined life and critical illness protection over a level term for 20 years.
Okay, so if we look at the commission for that and look at the commission tables, we know that you just said the Guardian are paying 200% indemnity commission and actually 235% non-indemnity commission. That is quite typical. So if you opt for non-indemnity commission, you do get paid more. But how did the numbers work, Sam, if we split the commission between indemnity and non-indemnity?
Yeah, great question. So that's where we've put this example together. So we'll see here the monthly premium for Paul and Jess is £68.06 based on their premium. So this is where you're kind of then searching through those options to see what fits you best. So if we go for 100% indemnity commission, so that's based on the APE at 200% commission. Option 2, you're then splitting it. So 75% indemnity commission with 25% being paid non-indemnity or on the drip. That gives you an extra £71.46 commission. Or option 3, 50% indemnity commission and 50% non-indemnity. So again, you can see the value there. You're earning an extra £142.92. So the customer, your client, doesn't really see anything different. They've got the same premium, the same cover, and you've given them the same advice, but you're adding more value to your business through that additional commission.
And just to be clear there, we're talking about the total gross commission earned. So that's to take account of the fact that you actually pay more on the non-indemnity. So if you do the split, there's going to be a greater commission for you. So what else then, Sam?
Absolutely, yeah. So you're spot on. So those are the total figures that we've calculated there, including both the indemnity and non-indemnity part. So breaking that down in how it looks in a real life example. So if we're taking that example, so you've got 50% on day one, so that's that £888 figure, plus then the 48 monthly payments. So you've got £18.50 every month for 48 months on the drip. And then you've got your renewal commission added in as well.
Okay, just if we hold fire a second, Sam. Now, the eagle-eyed mathematicians watching this podcast might have noticed that initial indemnity commission, if we calculated that 100%, was 1633. And we've gone for 50-50 on this example, Sam. But the 50% amount here shows a little bit more than 50% of what the indemnity commission is.
Very well spotted. Yes. So I'll use the same example. I'm going to use rounder figures just to explain it, but you're absolutely right. You're almost kind of getting a little bit more value perhaps than you would expect, even with this structure. So our 100% indemnity commission, let's say it's 1,600. So you would expect 50% of that to be £800. Your other commission figure was at 50% non-indemnity. So the non-indemnity commission would have been around 1,800. So if you did 50% split, you'd expect 50% of that to be 800 and 50% to be 900. That's 1,700 in total. And what we've actually done is split that total commission figure. So the whole amount gets split into two and you get 50% of the total figure up front. So you're actually getting part of the value from the non-indemnity as well, if that makes sense.
I think it does. We've got an example on the screen, so hopefully that makes sense to advisors there. So I think if we can look at some modelling now, because obviously we're looking at some of the business opportunities here, Sam. How would it look if a business did this type of split commission, but on a more regular basis? What would that look like, Sam?
Yeah, so I've taken some kind of very crude calculations here. We're looking at fairly achievable levels. We're saying we're writing one case every week on a similar sort of basis to our example. So if we kind of extrapolate that out over 52 weeks, so one case every week, you're actually adding an extra £7,431 to your business, driving additional revenue through that extra commission.
And that's just compared to doing it as 100% indemnity upfront commission. Really superb, that, Sam. I think that demonstrates the real business opportunity here about how you can set up some rules within your own business, because that's going to really help you increase revenue, as you've just seen, and it also mitigates some of the risk. And of course, if you do that on a regular basis, the extra commission really does become quite significant. Now, another area I wanted to get into, Sam, was the situation with indexation, because we know that you pay more commission when a policy is index linked. So could you give me an example of how flexible commission works in that respect, if we start thinking about indexation as well?
Absolutely. So again, this is where we add in a little bit more flexibility to you and more opportunity to drive that revenue within your business. So looking at this table here, we're using the same example with our same case study, same premium, and then just kind of splitting it out. So you can see you've got your 100% indemnity, which we talked about before, that sort of £1,600 figure. 50% takes it to 1,700, but then actually you've almost got another potential increase on top of that if we add in the indexation. So that's actually adding another 8% on top of the commission you've already earned. So we could keep it at 100% indemnity and you earn another sort of 1,700 type figure. But if you combine the two, and this is where you can really drive additional value. So if you add in 50% indemnity and non-indemnity, plus take that on an indexed basis, that's around £1,900 commission. So that's an extra £285 off of just this one case.
Absolutely. That's really, really good. And you've got some more opportunities, Sam, to increase revenue even further with the cover add-ons.
Absolutely, yes. So this is where we kind of talk about child's critical illness protection. So for us, this is quite a nice one, just because, again, this theme of flexibility continues. And with Guardian, you can actually add on child's critical illness protection onto a life-only policy. So it gives you that extra opportunity as well. And it's an opportunity for advisors, again, to kind of drive revenue whilst doing the right thing for clients. And if we look at this example, so again, we're taking the same example really and just expanding it out a little bit more. So our child's critical illness commission would be around £107 on an indemnity basis. Take that out to index, and it's 116. Make it 50% indemnity and indexed, and that's £126.28. This is based on £25,000 of child critical illness. So add that on to the commission that we've already earned through the adult policy, which was an extra 285. So 285 plus that 126, that's £411.30 additional commission. And from a customer perspective, all we've really done is added on some child critical illness, safeguarding the children, and made that an indexed policy. So you've really given them some quality cover there and driven quite a bit of additional revenue inside your business.
Amazing. That's really good, Sam. And if we pull all this together, and of course, let's keep with our case study, Paul and Jess, again. If we quote a Guardian policy, level cover, the premium £68.08 a month, we know that would yield a gross commission of £16.33 and 44 pence. But just to summarise where we're up to, Sam, just take me through the other options.
Absolutely. So I've tried to sort of neatly summarise this in this chart here. So you've got the level cover, then taking it to 50% indemnity, which is an extra £142 commission. Then change that to indexed cover, which is an extra £285. Then added in the children's critical illness. So that's an extra £411. And there's still a couple of caveats to this as well. So bear in mind, this is just one case. So if we extrapolate that out and you take that to a few cases throughout the year, that's a lot of extra value. Plus, this is just 50% indemnity and 50% non-indemnity. You can flex that as much as you like. So you could actually start to take that to the next stage and perhaps have 25% indemnity, 75% non-indemnity, in which case that value becomes even greater.
Superb. And all of that stems from the fact that you've got that flexibility when you apply for the products. Really good, Sam. So in summary, based on everything that we've talked about today, Sam, what are your key points for advisors watching this podcast?
So I think for us, this is about providing a function and a service that helps advisors as well as customers. When we first launched to market, we listened to advisors to get their advice on what they really wanted. And part of that was this hybrid commission model. And that's because it builds value into your business. It can reduce indemnity risk. So it stops you having that liability kind of hanging over the business. And it makes your business more attractive to potential buyers. And that's because we're helping you transition from indemnity to non-indemnity. Clearly, from a provider perspective, that helps our liability and our exposure as well, and it will help with persistency rates. So it's something that whole kind of triad relationship between ourselves as the provider, you as the advisor, and your customer, it benefits all stakeholders.
Fantastic. Really good, Sam. Thank you so much for going through that with me. That was really, really good. I think it will be an eye-opener to a lot of advisors watching this because of the versatility there. And of course, for any business principals who are watching this, of course, you can embed some of these as rules within your business about how you go about deploying these types of agencies for different cases. So thank you, Sam, for doing the podcast with me today. And obviously, any advisors who are watching this podcast, thank you for tuning in. Hope you found it useful. Until next time, it's bye for now.